concept of Bush Baby? Why was it garbage?
What was the concept of Bush Baby garbage? How's that a question?
Well, I mean, you just told me it was garbage, so...
Nah, I mean, I feel like it's garbage right now, because it's like, I don't know, man, when you're making a project, so the dailies was fire. Like, I think we had a lot of fun making it.
Okay.
A lot of fun with the dailies. But then the
What are the dailies?
The dailies is like the first it's the worst way to explain it. The dailies is like the stuff that you shoot on that day. So the shit that we shot on that day was really good. It was funny. Like, we came back, everything, we were like dying laughing. Like, people who weren't
while you were actually shooting it.
Yeah, while we were shooting it, like we watching on set and it would be funny. Like, I was laughing while directing a lot of this shit. I was laughing while being in a lot of these scenes.
Right.
But then with the cut, it's something different. It's like, because the thing is, sometimes what makes dailies great is the fact that, like, you can have like a 5-minute take of some shit. You know that 4 or 5 minutes is gonna make it in. When you watch the 5 minutes, it's kind of like, that's what makes it dumb. Like, it's like this is like this one scene, for instance, right? We got these goons rolling dice, and this white woman sees them rolling dice as she's jogging, and she can't run through them, so she has to run around them into the street, and she almost gets hit by a car, right? But then after she almost gets hit by the car, we pan back to the goons, and they all look at the chick like, why the bitch almost get hit by a car? And then one of the nigga grabs the money and runs off. And then they like, man, what the fuck? Because one person chases after and they can't catch him. He run off like a crackhead. And they all like, man, why y'all always let that nigga play for? He do this every time. Every week he do this shit. And then they start walking away. And then in the background, you see the nigga run back across the frame the other way with the money. Like, he hits the corner and dips. And then like they have a whole argument. And then like 10 seconds later, he just runs across the back end of the frame. And they're like, hey, there he go again. Go get him.
So what?
That shit was dumb.
But did you come up with that, or is that some shit that you've seen?
It was just some shit that happened while we were shooting, because the idea was what I explained first was niggas rolling dice, white woman jogging, sees them and decides to run around them and gets hit by a car. So as a director, I'm trying to make those mechanics work, and it was tough trying to get the car to stop at the right place. Okay. Luckily, Steve was there. I had him playing one of the goons, and Steve was like, why don't you just have him start the car when she starts running? And that practically made the most sense to get that beat across. While we were figuring that out, the guys who were playing the goons, really talented actors or whatever, most of them were from New York. So they just started playing with the dice and they started creating a scene on their own. Okay. Without me having to do too much to tell him what to do. And they came up with the whole bit of like, how about we rolling dice, and then he tries to steal all the money, he runs off. Okay. And then when I started seeing him do that, and I was adding some things like, yo, Cisco, you need to say this, say like, yo, why you always let him play for? Yeah. And then like everybody just added, like it was just stupid, it was dumb. It's funny as shit. But like to play that full clip in the film doesn't make sense. Right. So like we get bits of it that's funny, but it's never as funny as like showing that whole, like that should be its own like scene. Like that could be its own movie, really, to be honest with you, because it's so dumb. Why the nigga run away? And then they start arguing with each other after he took the money, then he runs back the other way. Somebody should chase after him.
Alright, so okay. Of all of the shit, like of all of the concepts, of all of the subject matters that you could make your first feature film about, why Bush Baby?
Man, on the real?
Yeah.
This is the real. So basically, I initially, as a director, I was like, yo, I want to be able to tell diverse stories that you wouldn't expect for me to tell. And that's what I spent most of my time in film school doing. Like, I did a story about a homeless couple that were like older. I did a film about a bunch of girls who were bank robbers. I did a story about a group of kids in college and sexual assault, and then that turned into this web series class that you were a part of. Yeah. And like all of this stuff was just kind of like, you wouldn't expect a nigga from Brooklyn to be telling any of these type of stories. Right. And I felt like I kept hitting the wall, and the people who are seeing be successful was doing exactly what you expected them to do. I'm gonna tell the pro-black story, I'm gonna tell the slave story, I'm gonna tell the civil rights story, and I'm just kind of like, fuck it, why don't I just do one of these type of stories or whatever? I said it as a joke, and I was like, I should just tell a story about when I came home from college, I had to work for my uncle's vegan soul food spot, right? And I was in the kitchen. Soul food spot? Yeah, my uncle really has a vegan soul food spot in Bed-Stuy, and I had to live with him when I came back home from college. I had no place to stay. Okay. And I just started, I kept saying this, and the people was like, "Dude, that'd be dope. I can see that world." I'm just kind of like, right. Niggas, no, that's not. That's a joke. I'm not. And then it was like, no, just tell it. That story's fire, man. You can tie in gentrification. And I was like, man, whatever. And then like I sat on it for a little minute, and I was just kind of like, I probably could tell a good story. And initially, I was like, this could be like my tiny furniture. Right. And I was like, if it's gonna be my tiny furniture, fuck it, I'm gonna play the character too. And so like I wrote the script out, and I started looking at it, and like people were feeling the script, even though I thought it needed a lot of work. Like the first few drafts, I was just telling people to look at it to see if they got what I was going for, and they was like, "Yo, this is dope. You should keep pushing with this." And I was kind of like, so then I started seeing it more and started developing it more. But then I was like, in order for me to really get this across, I'm probably not going to be able to play the part. Right. And so I started looking at other cats who can play it, and that's kind of where it started, man. It just started with that whole concept. But then the more I got into it, the more I was like, well, I could kind of like show this, and like I'm able to show like places where I grew up and some of the things that I grew up around seeing, and what the struggles were growing up in that type of environment, and what the struggles are today.
Got it.
In that environment, you know what I'm saying? Like all the stuff that I hated growing up that got changed, I was 100% for, but at the same time, it pushed out everything else. Like even today, I got my cousin to send me some footage from Brooklyn, right on Fulton Street, on the street where Briggy grew up on Fulton and St. James. There's like 4 black people on the street, and everybody else milling about it just like white people. You get what I'm saying? Right. And you know, Fulton and St. James back in the day, like it was that's literally Biggie's block. That's where he grew up at. Like they got a mural for him and everything over there. But like now you look at it, it's kind of like, and that's only like a few blocks away from where the majority of our story takes place, and like what we used to run through and everything like that. Right. So it is kind of like all the shit that I hated growing up is now kind of like really almost gone. You get what I'm saying? So now I see the importance of having to tell a story like this, because this may be like the last of the Mohicans. You get what I'm saying? Right. Like 10 years from now, like there may not even be no black people on that side of Brooklyn or in Brooklyn at all. Well, there always be black people. Like you never really get rid of niggas. Niggas just always exist. That's one thing. Like niggas will be there, but we ain't gonna be there as much as we used to be.
All right, so with all the shit that's changing in Brooklyn, right? Do you still feel as though you know, even with the people that are coming in and out, do you feel like the identity of the city is still going to stay what it is, or do you think it's going to go more to like a commercialized, you know, kind of? That's tough. That's a tough way, because I think it's still that way. Like we go to New York has a natural hustle and bustle, right? But there is like an authenticity that's lacking, because a lot of people who are there are like. You think an authenticity is lacking in New York now? Yeah, a little bit, especially like in certain areas of Brooklyn. Like for instance, like the Brooklyn Nets. Right. I represent the team. I fuck with the team. Right. But I think it's obvious now more so than ever that I really wasn't a team for Brooklyn local. It was like for people who weren't from Brooklyn to come in. Right. Right. Even the way he tried to build that, like team. A tourist attraction almost. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was just kind of like, we got to win now, and it's just kind of like, nah, we should have done what the Warriors did. You get what I'm saying? Like the Warriors. What was that? I'll say this, man. The Warriors is like the best version of like a farm team. Like, that's a local team. Like, nobody gave a fuck about basketball in the Bay Area other than people who lived in the Bay Area. You get what I'm saying? And like when y'all had those good teams like the Run DMCs or whatever, or that one year with B Diddy beat Dallas in the first round. Only y'all gave a shit. You get what I'm saying? Now y'all like the hot shit in the league. But like y'all built that team within. Y'all built it like a farm team, like a minor league team or whatever. Like y'all built the same. Y'all built that team like y'all built the Royals. We built through the draft. And like small trades and like really bringing in the necessary free agents. Like niggas forget Andre Iguodala was an Olympian. Iggy was an Olympian before he started playing with y'all. You know? Yeah, he was. So like that's kind of what it is. It's like and it's not all the way gone. Like as a real Brooklyn nigga, like you know that it's still there because you don't have to necessarily hang out in these spots. Like when I go home, I'm not only downtown, I'm not only in Fort Greene. Like I'm in the Star, I'm in the Ville, I'm in the East, I'm in Canarsie, I'm in all these, I'm in Flatbush sometimes. Like I'm in all these places where we're at, where like where shit is still happening. But like most people who move into the city and move to Brooklyn or whatever only end up there if they get lost, or if they, you know, so they don't. As long as those neighborhoods stay somewhat what they are, then I think the authenticity will still be there. Then other boroughs are still pretty real. Like Queens is still pretty authentic, even though they're starting to slice that up now because they didn't slice Brooklyn up as much as they could be. The Bronx is still pretty realistic. Harlem got pretty gentrified, but it's still like you still gonna see Harlem niggas everywhere in the city. Like you can tell a Harlem nigga from a mile away. How? The way they dress, the way they talk, the way they handle situations, the way they dance. You know what I'm saying? Like. You'll be on the train out of nowhere, you just hear like, excuse me! How? I'm from Uptown, and I want some change. Me and my man, we're gonna dance for y'all.
and this man to come through with like a hat or something like that, and they just got like, oh, these niggas from like 145th or something like that.
Right.
All
right.
So those elements are still there, but it's few and far between. And it's just real annoying seeing not just like the influx of new people, but the blatant disrespect that just like the culture that was already there.
Okay.
Like, did you see that video that this kid Amate released about the chopped cheese in New York?
Nah.
Yeah, this shit was crazy, man. This Dominican kid from Harlem did this video because there was this some food network, some white food network was basically kind of like, oh my God, we have the New York version of the Philly cheesesteak, and they serve them exclusively in Harlem, and no one knows, most New Yorkers don't know it exists. Right. And Amate's kind of like, bitch, you talking about a chopped cheese? They go for $4 on the roll? Like, no, of course it exists or whatever. And he was just going in on her, and that's basically all it is. It's just kind of like, and I get it. I get who she's speaking to. She's speaking to her crowd of people, like people who came to New York from the Midwest or from the South or from other countries, and they're new to New York. They don't, of course, they're not gonna know about the chopped cheese, because it's like, when are you ever gonna be hitting the bodegas? You get what I'm saying? And when you do hit the bodegas, are you actually going to the sandwich line and hitting all this shit on there or whatever? Right. But when you say it like that, it's almost kind of like you disrespecting the fact that chopped cheeses has been around as long as niggas was running numbers in Harlem. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's like a staple in the hood. So it's just stuff like that is really annoying and disrespectful. You know what I'm saying?
Got it. Now, okay, so for you to go from New York to LA, you know, obviously you wanted to go to film school here as opposed to New York, or as opposed to back home.
Yeah.
Did you want to go to SC, or did you?
I wanted to go to NYU or SC. Like, I wanted to go to one of the two best film schools in the world. I wanted to settle for anything less. Okay. So I didn't only apply to those two. Okay. And I just didn't get into NYU. And then I got in. Well, it was more. I went to visit both campuses, and like I had conversations with both admission directors. Right. And USC was way more open and friendly. NYU was just kind of like, you apply, you get in. If you don't, that's nice knowing you. And then I didn't get into NYU, and then I got into USC, and I was just kind of like, it just made sense. It fit my personality better, I guess, because it was just so open to who the fuck I was. So
if you could, now that you're out of SC, if you could go back and take more advantage of, say one resource that you wish you would have taken better advantage of, which one would that be? I just say my last year in general. Like, my last year in film school, I was in the shits. I kind of I broke up with this girl, and like my career, I had a plan when I got into film school that like by my last year I was going to be like the shit on like the short film circuit, and that just didn't happen. Okay. And so I just didn't feel like doing anything. So I kind of like just like depressed my way and moped through like the last 2 semesters. What I should have just planned for what life after film school should have been. Okay. And that should have been like for instance, we did a web series like that summer after graduation. Right. I should have put aside a plan to actually make sure that web series could have been done at the highest capability. I could have used more of the resources that was there at the school. Okay. And I could have went over to the theater school and did some casting there. I should have, maybe used a production number or two, or used some of the equipment. Like, I could have we could have started shooting that probably that last semester. Right. I should have did a thesis film. Like, I didn't do a thesis film. I didn't do a thesis script. So like they have this whole exit strategy at USC where like you can do a thesis film and have that screen, or write a script and like have agents and all that. Like, I didn't do any of that. So like I didn't even really get a chance to use like my final showcase ability like at school. And then like even I would have probably did like a proof of concept for Bush Baby while I was in school, or like the other feature that I was developing, because I had all the resources. And then I probably should have looked at finding like a consistent like job or moneymaker. Got it. Or strategize. Like, there's so many other things I could have did. Like there's other options. Like I could have. There's like a ton of like diversity, like not scholarships, but like programs. I should have made a list of those and be like, I'm just gonna keep applying to these till I get into one. So those are all things I probably should have done. I should have just been more prepared and aware of what was going to be on the outside when I got out. So talking about the outside, like what has been some of the like transitioning pains that you've had since you've finished school to now being like a... Oh man, I've lost 2 cars. when I was in film school, I had a Mustang. I had a white Mustang, and I used to get tickets all the time. But when I was in school, I had money to pay the tickets off. Right. And like probably like I was out of school for probably like 3 or 4 weeks. Right. And
my car got towed by the lock when I was taking my cousin to like play with the tubes.
Okay.
Being like, you know, the autistic nigga I am, I'll just go to the museum and expose you to some shit. These niggas told me. They was like, nah, nigga, no. I bet you I wouldn't have got towed if I was at the liquor store. I'll tell you that much. But like, they towed my car, and like I owed them like $1,300 worth of tickets, and that was worth more than a car. So I just let them keep the tickets. So I went like a year after film school, not a car. And then I got a second car, and I was driving Uber with that car. But it was like a monthly payments. And then when I stopped driving Uber, because of some discrepancies I'm not going to talk about on the internet, but I stopped driving Uber, and it made it harder to keep those payments up, and they came and took that.
They came and took it?
In the middle of the night. Like, they never come and tow your car at a convenient time. They never do it at the lunch hour.
Never.
They never do it in the morning. They do that shit while you're sleeping.
Of course.
And they send you a text like, hey, we repossessed.
By the way.
Right, it's like, bitch, fuck.
All right, so what about like you said some of the financial struggles? How much has that affected you being able to get the projects that you really want to make off of the ground? Because you made Class with nothing. I did. And Class came out dope.
I appreciate that, brother.
So,
well, yeah, even specifically with Class, like, to do a second season, it's not feasible to do it the same way we did it the first time, because it's like, it took us a year and a half to get that done, and if you would have had even $5,000 all at once, or $10,000 all at once,
and how
you could have shot that within a few weeks and had it cut within like 2 months and had it out.
So you got, so how many, there's what, 10 episodes of Class?
8
episodes of Class, and so the total duration is what, like 80 minutes?
About 85, 90 minutes.
85, 90 minutes. But you guys still managed to do 85, 90 minutes of solid content with nothing, but you think that if you wanted to do a second season, you for sure need a budget?
Oh, you got to, because like, one of the reasons that it took us so long to do is because we had a multi-character piece, and all the actors had different schedules. So you had to work with all these different actor schedules, especially for like the bigger sequences. Like, you want to do a frat scene that's like 8 to 10 guys. You got to make sure that your 3 main guys that you need are all available for that whole day, and you got to fill up the rest of the guys. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
You got like 2 girls that need to do every scene together. You got to make sure that they're both not working on the days that you need them.
Right.
So when you're able to have a budget, you can pay your actors so that you can just be like, you just take off of work for 4 days and we'll shoot you out in 4 days.
Got it.
You get what I'm saying? Locations, like